My name is Zainab, and this is the story of how I lost myself in love only to find myself again in faith. It's a story of heartbreak, courage, and the unshakable bond between my soul and my Creator. A story I shared to inspire anyone who's ever felt torn between who they are and who someone else wants them to be. When I first met Yusuf, my heart fluttered in a way I'd never known. It was a crisp autumn evening, and I was adjusting my hijab in the mirror before heading to a community iftar. My hijab, a deep emerald green, felt like an extension of my soul, a symbol of my devotion to Allah, a choice I made at 16 with pride and conviction. Yusuf noticed it immediately. "Your hijab," he said, his eyes warm and sincere. "It's like a crown. It makes you radiant." Those words wrapped around my heart like a warm embrace. For the first time, I felt seen, not just for my face or my smile, but for my faith, my essence. Our early days were like a dream woven with threads of love and shared spirituality. We prayed side by side, our shoulders brushing as we stood in qiyam. We laughed over cups of mint tea, dreaming of a future where our children would grow up knowing the beauty of Islam. Yusuf called me his nur, his light, saying my modesty made me a rare gem in a world that often sparkled with fleeting distractions. I believed I'd found my soulmate, someone who cherished the same values I held dear. But dreams have a way of unraveling, don't they? After we married, the warmth in Yusuf's eyes began to cool. It started with subtle comments, like whispers of doubt creeping into my heart. "Zainab, you're stunning, but maybe try a brighter scarf, something less traditional," he'd say, his tone gentle but pointed. I brushed it off, telling myself he just wanted me to stand out, to shine even brighter. But the suggestions grew sharper, like thorns hidden in a bouquet.
"Why don't you loosen the hijab a bit? Show a little more of your hair. It's so beautiful." Each word chipped away at the confidence I'd built over years of wearing my hijab unapologetically. One night, 6 months into our marriage, the truth spilled out like a storm breaking a dam. We were sitting at the dinner table, the air heavy with unspoken tension. Yusuf looked at me, his jaw tight, and said, "I didn't marry a scholar, Zainab. I married a woman. Can't you just take the hijab off sometimes? It's just fabric, after all." The words pierced me, sharp and cold, lodging deep in my chest. Fabric? My hijab was my shield, my declaration of faith, my love letter to Allah. How could he reduce it to something so trivial? I tried to explain, my voice trembling, that my hijab wasn't just about covering. It was about my identity, my submission to Allah. But Yusuf's eyes glazed over, as if my words were a language he no longer understood. The arguments grew more frequent, each one carving a deeper wound. "You're too strict," he'd say. "You're hiding your beauty behind all that cloth." The man who once called me his light now saw my faith as a shadow, a barrier between us. I began to doubt myself. Was I too rigid? Was I pushing him away? Nights found me staring into the mirror, my hijab pinned as tightly as ever, yet feeling like a stranger to myself. The girl who once walked through campus with her head high, unshaken by stares or whispers, was slipping away. I was bending, folding, shrinking to fit into Yusuf's vision of who I should be. The breaking point came on a quiet winter evening. After another heated argument, Yusuf's voice cut through the silence. "I married you for your beauty, Zainab, not your beliefs. Can't you just be normal?" Normal. The word echoed in my mind, heavy with betrayal. I realized then that Yusuf had never truly loved the woman I was. He loved the idea of me, the hijab as an aesthetic, not as a testament to my faith. That night, I sat on my prayer mat, tears streaming down my face, and asked Allah for guidance. Ya Allah, I whispered, show me the way back to myself. The next morning, I made the hardest decision of my life. With a trembling heart, I packed a small bag and left. Yusuf didn't stop me. His silence was louder than any words, confirming what I already knew. I had to choose between losing my marriage and losing myself. I chose myself. I chose Allah. I moved into a tiny apartment, its windows spilling golden light each morning. It was just me, my prayer mat, and a quiet that felt like a gift. The first time I prayed Fajr in that space, I sobbed, not from sadness, but from a freedom I hadn't realized I'd lost. Each prayer, each ayah, each moment alone brought me closer to the woman I'd been. Strong, faithful, unapologetic. I started teaching Quran to young girls at the masjid, their eager faces reminding me why I'd chosen this path. I journaled my journey, pouring my heart onto pages that became my sanctuary. I found sisters who understood, who'd walked similar paths, their stories weaving a tapestry of resilience and faith. One day, I stood before my mirror, wrapping my hijab in a soft lavender fabric that shimmered in the light. I smiled, a real, unguarded smile, and felt my heart sing. I wasn't just Zainab, the woman who left her marriage. I was Zainab, the woman who returned to her Lord, who reclaimed her faith with every step. I laughed again, the kind of laughter that bubbles from the soul. I wore my favorite abayas, tied my hijab with pride, and walked through the world knowing I was enough. My story isn't about losing love, it's about finding it. Not the fleeting love of a person, but the eternal love of Allah, the love that never asks you to compromise who you are. Sometimes you have to let go of what you thought was home to find where you truly belong. For me, that home is in my faith, in my hijab, in the serenity of submission. I'm Zainab, and this is my story. If you've watched this far, comment Alhamdulillah below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that uplift and inspire. Assalamu alaikum.